Welcome to Cos Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Hi everyone, Jason Hunt here, inviting you to join us every Saturday morning for news, the week's headlines in science fiction, fantasy, horror, comic books, video games, plus Comic-Con updates and the weather, and the occasional interview along the way. We call it Good Morning Multiverse. We hope you join us every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, right here on Sci-Fi for Me TV.
And if you've read Critical Blast today, that is the song referred to in our story about predatory big media that Universal Music Group seems to think they own, which is a surprise to me. But if you haven't seen that already, check out criticalblast.com. We do actually publish now and then some reviews and commentary. Tonight is just sort of a free-for-all open topic night with our guest panelist, Mike Walters. How you doing today, man?
All right. Something I might want to. Am I echoing? Oh boy. No, not echoing there. I was on Rex Christian's Devil Flyer Momentum's stream earlier, and when I mentioned I was heading over here, he asked me to pass along a hello from him.
Oh well, hello right back to Rex. Good to see him in the chat as always.
He's actually been in the process of trying to do some kind of record-breaking stream of like 27 hours or something, trying to beat Apex Comics, who did something like a 26-hour stream. So
there's a record? Because if there's a record...
I was on last night with him, and then I went on a little earlier today. So
I already beat that. I was 31.
I was gonna say you've done some long streams, right, George?
Yeah, 31.
Yeah, I can beat that. I'll just turn the camera on.
Apparently, at least from what he said, there's a little trick to it, because apparently YouTube will not hold it after 11:55 per se. You know, if you've gone 11 hours and 55 minutes, then I don't know if it's a case where YouTube will just stop recording, or the storage spaces goes or whatever. But
no, that's no. Panacha's gone like 24 hours, no problem.
Yeah, they used to have a limit on YouTube, didn't they? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it was for unvalidated people, but once you've hit your limit, I think you can, or once you've, I can't speak right. Once you've hit your 4,000 watch hours and your 1,000 subscribers, I think you're good to go.
Yeah.
So I'll just set the camera up and film me boxing up everything for Kozor from the Barton Brothers. That should at least take 32 hours.
Well,
so in order to go beyond the limit, you actually have to be like monetized. Is that basically what you're?
No,
we're guessing.
No.
No?
I wasn't monetized when it did over 30 hours on a Christmas stream.
That's right. That was 30 hours, and you had the Yule log burning, and you had
Yule log burning between movies
and Superman cartoons.
All that, all those awesomeness.
I remember that. I was there for that, watching a lot of that. So, but you were not monetized. So I wonder what the rule is. Hey, you know what? There's a thing called Google, and people can ask questions to it, like, what is the maximum length of a YouTube live stream? Technically, there's no time limit on a YouTube live stream. However, YouTube can only archive live streams up to 12 hours long.
Okay, that's probably what I think he was saying.
Yeah. So yeah, you could go all week long, but I wonder if they take the most recent 12 hours or if they stop with the first.
I think it's the last 12 hours.
That's what they just let them fall off. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you want to do something really, really super long and contain it, then you want to go 11 hours and 55 minutes and close it and start up.
I know it was something like that. I just couldn't, just.
Okay. Well, that would be kind of crazy to try to do. See, George did it right. He had it all pre-programmed and let it go. He didn't stay up with it. That would have been insane.
Yeah.
So I saw something come across my Twitters and my YouTube notifications right before show started here, which means that y'all are probably all the way up on this already, but and I'm the last one to know. G4TV DOA. It's gone.
I think this is the first I've heard of it, but doesn't necessarily surprise me. I know that there's been a lot of news over the last couple months, 2 or 3 months, where they've just been repeatedly shooting themselves in the foot, or sticking their feet in their mouth,
Yeah.
Going back to that Frost girl,
maybe they put their foot in their mouth and then shoot their foot. That would in Minecraft.
Yeah.
No, they millionaires spent money and they messed it up.
Yep.
Millions upon millions of dollars all gone because one chick couldn't keep her mouth shut. Oh, wait a minute. Sounds like Helen of Troy. Where do we know what part of history do we know this?
Oh man. What was her name too?
Well, her last name was Frost. I know that much. You're talking about the G4 girl who couldn't keep her mouth shut, right?
I remember. I guess
Frost. I do remember that much.
I guess that's all people refer to her as. There's no truth by way to the rumor that that Frost is taking an editor position at IDW. That's completely unfounded. That's
probably because they thought that after Heather Antos just completely helped to shutter Valiant.
You're ruining the joke, Mike. That's the joke.
Oh, sorry.
Before we continue, just want to tell everybody who's listening that all live streams from my channel will be continuing on Denali's channel for the next 2 weeks.
Oh no! Why?
Because it's very difficult fighting the culture war, and if they're not striking you down, then you're just not doing it right. Yeah,
this is true. If they're letting your videos stay up on YouTube,
you're not fighting the culture war if your videos are staying up.
So Studio 38 is saying here in quite loudly, I would say, it's not her job to make the words make sense.
Whose job? Heather's or Frost's? I mean, Heather's the editor, so yeah, she. Oh, but Woody. Give you one of those, man. Yeah, I mean, if you are trying to fight the culture war and nobody is pushing back, you're not fighting anything. And I'll take it a step further. If you're trying to fight the culture war and you end up with more than $100 worth of super chats at the end of your video, you're not fighting anything.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, there's a reason why. You know, we're fighting the culture war. You know, we're sticking it to them. You know, we're talking. We're saying this show is terrible, and you know, buy my tchotchke, and the video stays up. Okay, you've done zilch nada.
It's only when your video is taken down for things like medical misinformation.
It's just lots. It's not just that. It's anything. If it gets taken down, boom, you struck a nerve.
Yeah. By the way, YouTube, I've got this rash on my arm, and you know, rather than see a doctor, I know that YouTube is far more knowledgeable about medical things, because you know they actually shut down doctors who talk about medical things on YouTube because they're like, no, that's not right. So since YouTube knows what's right medically, YouTube, if you would just please diagnose my arm and tell me exactly what kind of cream I should put on this rash, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
So what all else happened this week? I know last weekend I was not. No, 2 weeks ago. I was at the convention, and that was a lot of fun. But last weekend, I can't remember anything that happened.
Actually, there's another funny little story that was going on this past week that I was gonna bring up. Yeah, I kind of brought up with George and some of Lorenzo's crew the other day. I know you guys have probably watched, you know, the Scooby-Doo franchise growing up. You know, whether it was yeah. And I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer or the stills of the trailer.
We've seen a lot of it. George even had it on your show.
Go on.
In your lifetime, have you guys ever thought you would ever see a chocolate Velma?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you guys did?
I will say this. At no time in my life did I ever think Velma was not gay, but it didn't have to be so overt.
I identified with Velma as a lesbian.
Yes, we all know that Velma was a lesbian. We all know that Shaggy's smoking doobies in the back with Scoob. That's why they're so hungry all the time.
Yep.
And
you know what got me was the artwork, though. It's like that one scene in the still. It's like.
She looks like a Palmer
bunny. It seriously reminded me of like the chocolate bunnies you get at Easter time.
Yeah, she looks like a Palmer bunny.
Yeah, or Cadbury. You almost get the impression that maybe Cadbury was sponsoring the Velma HBO Max.
Right, you never know. You never know. Maybe the chocolate business was low on sales, and you know, they made a deal.
So they made two different Velmas are out there right now getting attention. So Velma is an attention whore right now. There's the chocolate Velma, and then there's the Velma with a crush on the female co-star for the episode. Yeah. So there's that.
Well, okay. So the chocolate Velma, that's a Mindy Kaling HBO series.
Yep.
The other one you're talking about where she's got the crush on Coco, that one was actually a Halloween special. I think it's called Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. That's supposed to be coming up pretty soon here.
I'm sure it'll be on HBO Max. It may already be on HBO Max. I should check. And what the thing that got me with with the Velma series with Mindy Kaling. Not so much Velma, and they're going to do that. I know. But when they brought Fred up and they described the character of Fred, like he's full, he had more daddy. He has so many daddy issues. He makes Eric Trump go, damn. I'm like, let it go, guys. It's he's not president anymore. You can't.
And they missed a boat. They missed the boat on that.
Missed the boat. If they'd have released this 4 years ago, the people would have said, "Oh, look, a relevant joke." Now it's like, oh, that's so 2016.
Actually, according to what I heard about the description for the Mindy Kaling show, Fred was supposedly described as being the token dumb white guy.
Oh, that too. Yeah, but there was a full paragraph write up of him that.
It's kind of funny because when Yellow Flash reported on this too, because he couldn't remember who the girl's last name was from when he said Mindy, I initially thought Mindy Cohn because Mindy Cohn for a while there was actually voicing Velma.
Flash doesn't research anything; he just gets on and talks.
He just reads.
Yeah, well, I eventually remembered that was Mindy Kaling, but or found out it was Mindy Kaling. But when it was Mindy Cohn, it made sense to me because I know Mindy Cohn herself had described her as a particular term. I'm not going to repeat the term because some people might find it offensive. The initials are FH, and it rhymes with tag, and it's used to describe like a woman who is very close friends with people of the LGBTQ persuasion. So
I'm not gay, but I'm hanging around so many gay people that I do gay things.
Something to that effect, yeah. But I'm not going to.
Didn't Mindy Cohn do the voice of Velma for a while during the run?
Yeah, I believe. I was reminded by one of my subscribers, Doodlebug4, that she left the series in 2015.
Yeah, and if you're trying to put the voice in your head, George, for Mindy Cohn was Natalie on Facts of Life.
Still not, no clue.
You didn't watch Facts of Life? You take the good, you take the bad, you take the
I know Facts of Life, but I've never watched it.
Oh well,
it wasn't black enough for me.
Tootie, you needed more Tootie.
I watched the Jetsons. No, not the Jetsons. The Jeffersons.
The Jeffersons. Yeah.
George and Wheezy.
Mm-hmm.
And now that was great, man. With JJ coming in. Oh my gosh! Every time.
Wait a second now. No. That's good times.
Oh, that's good times.
That's good times.
Yeah, good. JJ is good times.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. Well, George and Wheezy is the Jeffersons, right? George and Wheezy is the Jeffersons, right?
On his white neighbors.
Yeah. As the good times, one where JJ would come in after his big fat friend would come in and say, "What's happening?"
And he'd go, "Dynamite!"
Yeah, that's it.
His friend Rerun would come in and yell, "What's happening?" And then they'd go down and visit his mama from the barbershop.
Actually, no, that was What's Happening. Those are two different shows.
I feel like I could tell a chicken crossing the road joke right now, and Mike would be like, chickens aren't really that fast. They don't get out of the way of cars easily enough. Yes, you're right. That's a mix of That's My Mama and What's Happening and What's Happening Now. We just took every black show of the decade and we just made the black 70s.
Yeah, that's it.
I'd watch that show.
Well, a lot of these shows though would go from the 70s into the early 80s too.
Yep. Oh, it would have been great if Washington. Was it Washington from
Cotter?
Welcome Back, Cotter, and JJ were in the same room. Oh my gosh!
Television would explode.
Oh, that would have been gold, man! Absolutely.
But
gold.
It all came out of All in the Family.
Yeah, I know. And Meathead, and Vinnie Barbarella, and
the Jeffersons, Maude, the Jeffersons. And Archie Bunker's Place were all spun off from.
It was All in the Family, and then it went to Jeffersons, Maude, and Archie Bunker's Place. Maude spun off Good Times, and then Archie Bunker's Place, or All Family, also spun off 407 Hauser Street, and Gloria.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm missing some because there's a couple more.
Well, the Hauser Street was a pilot. I don't think it actually made it. It was a pilot. They made a pilot, and the pilot, I guess, didn't work.
So I remember watching it. There was nothing about it that was a spinoff except that it was at the same address, only there was a black family living in Archie Bunker's house now.
Well, from what I read on it, it was actually the circumstances were a little reversed. Where in Archie Bunker's place, you would have had the quote unquote the conservative father and the liberal kids, and in Hauser, it was the reverse. You had the liberal parents and the conservative kids.
So it was a black version of Family Ties.
Something like that, yeah.
That's why it didn't spin off or last long. We already had Family Ties with Alex P. Keaton, my hero.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good show.
Well, I think Mara Tierney was in there as part of the cast.
Oh, shoot.
Oh.
Wait a minute. What am I looking at?
What are you looking at?
You
have something to share with the class, George?
I ordered food.
Oh. Well, I guess you can't really share that with the class then.
And I got 2 minutes to get to the front door. I'll be right back.
Oh. Okay.
Actually, there is something else, another interesting piece of news item that I wanted to discuss. Wanted to bring up.
Wait, what's that noise?
Oh, I thought you left.
Oh yeah, thanks a lot. You bugger. Yeah, you bugger.
Oh,
I thought you walked away. I have sound effects. You know how to use them too.
Actually, one of the other news stories I covered this last week that I found kind of interesting, and RJ, you kind of saw it a bit too because I talked to you a bit about it. I don't know if you'd heard about this, George, but Alan Moore coming out and saying that adults who are into superhero comics are engaging in, and I'll quote this, an infantilization that leads to that's a precursor to fascism. I figured, in layman's terms, he's basically calling any adult who's into superhero comics a baby fascist. I wanted to see what you guys had to say about all that.
You're all big babies, and you're leading us to fascism.
I remember, RJ, you had something to pretty much say about Moore himself.
Moore is whining for the sake of whining. He wants us to believe that he's doing it for art because here's the deal. Moore was supposed to get the Watchmen characters back as soon as DC let them go out of print. Well, DC found out that they were never going to let them out of print because those trade paperbacks and hardcover collections sell well every year to new generations of readers and to readers who read the hell out of their old books and need a new version on their bookshelf. So they're still selling them. They will never let that go out of print. So has Moore been screwed? Well, let me put it like this. Moore and Frank Miller were both writing their stuff right about the same time. Moore was doing Watchmen. Frank Miller was doing Dark Knight Returns. Mm-hmm. What were the trade paperbacks on the shelves at that time? I'll tell you, none. DC had no concept of the trade paperback. My friend Mike Tierney was taking old runs of comics and repurposing them because he's a bookmaker, not like taking bets and stuff. He was a journeyman printer, and he was recollecting these older books from his 50-cent bin into trade paperbacks that he bound himself and was selling the hell out of them. And he went to DC. He's like, "Can I do this?" And they're like, "What you do with them after you buy them, you can modify them any way you want. We're not going to. There's no market for it. If your people are buying it, great." So, that said, there was no thought at DC Comics that there would ever be this market for trade paperbacks. Therefore, there was nothing in the contracts to say, hey, this is what we'll pay you on the first printing of the trade paperback. This is what we'll pay you on the second printing. Subsequent printings, your rate will drop. Frank Miller was the highest paid Batman writer at DC Comics throughout the entire decade of the 90s, never wrote a single Batman book from 90 to 99. Didn't, because he was getting first print royalty rates on Dark Knight Returns and Batman Year One. Alan Moore is still getting first print royalty rates on Watchmen. For every book that they sell, he's getting first print rates on that. So
yeah,
his whining rings a little hollow. Hey, Jim.
Hey.
But from what I remember you saying to me when we were talking about the other day, one of the things that struck me was you were saying that Moore was bitter because apparently, I guess, comic book fandom as a whole somewhat utterly and summarily rejected his concept of a progressive hero.
Oh, yeah. He thought that he made Rorschach as reprehensible and repellent as possible. And Rorschach was the #1 favorite superhero character 3 years running in the comic book in the comic book CBG, whatever that used to stand for. I used to have a subscription to it, but I can't remember what the CBG stood for now, other than comics buyer's guide. It was a wonderful newspaper. I wish it was still around. We need that. But they would run a poll every year for 3 years running. Rorschach won it. He couldn't understand why so many people in the United States saw Rorschach as the hero when he was trying to make him a full person. You know,
RJ,
you're getting choppy a little there, RJ.
You are. Yeah, it looks like you got lag.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that there's a little the wireless symbol at the top of my screen here is like, hey, you're low. Meanwhile, I'm not on wireless. I am plugged directly into the router, and it shows.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
Well, what you want to do is check your settings and see what your internet is hooked into, because if you did an upgrade or something, it may be playing with wireless instead of your.
Nope. I'm looking at the symbol at the bottom of my full screen here, which says, "Hey, internet access, Ethernet connection." I'm not on the wireless at all.
Okay.
Studio 38 was mentioned. What happened to Rorschach has happened to a lot of other characters. Let's see.
Meant to be foils. Yeah.
Foils. Judge Dredd is a prime example. And James, since you just popped in, we're talking about Alan Moore and his recent comments on the infantilization of adult comic book fans who are into superhero as a precursor to
fascism.
And you don't get more fascist than Judge Dredd. I mean, I am the law. That's
well, yeah. Judge Dredd. If you look at Judge Dredd, that's a straight up fascist comic. I mean, really, it is. But he's the law. He judges right then and there. You're done. That's it. There's no recourse. There's no anything. But as for Alan Moore, he's a grumpy old man. I mean, that's what he is. He's just grumpy. His Watchmen did pretty good, but the other stuff he did have bombed. So I mean, it's just fun to watch, and I'm sitting here watching what's going on over at the other movie studios that I will not mention.
Oh, come on now, you're a shareholder.
Yeah, I know.
What's going on at the last shareholder meeting?
Well. The audit's not complete yet, but it's looking like there's going to be a fire sale, at DC. So it's not looking good at all for DC. But I will say this: thanks to Rock, he did pull something off really cool. And this is a spoiler, so get ready for it.
Who pulled off something cool?
The Rock. Okay, so I mean, it's already on the internet all over the place anyway. But I actually I've actually seen the footage. Him and Cavill is back as Superman.
Yes, he is,
and he does show up in Black Adam.
Yeah. Post-credit scene.
I know he's set to star. Rock is set to star as Black Adam in the movie.
No, Black Adam's out. Black Adam, the early screenings and has already come out. It comes out this Friday on the 21st.
Henry Cavill is back. He is in the blue. He is in the blue suit, but it's still the dark blue suit. So they're gearing up for that. I understand they are releasing the Flash just to try to make something back, and they did put Henry Cavill back into that movie as well. There is talk of a Superman 2, or Man of Steel 2. So we may see that, and we may see Black Adam versus Superman.
Yes, that would
well,
be
there
the
was
second.
also some other news this week that Warner Brothers Discovery had essentially cut something like about a quarter of its animation staff.
No, all right, I'll explain what happened. When you merge two companies, okay, there's always going to be layoffs.
Jobs.
There's always going to be layoffs. What happened when Discovery got HBO, Warner Brothers, and stuff like that? They had found that there was like 4 different departments doing the same job.
Yep.
I mean, that's just wasteful money.
That always happens.
Now, in this situation, it was the entire Warner Brothers TV division. Okay? That consists of everything that Turner Broadcasting is part of. Okay? So it hit them all. CNN, everybody got nailed.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is when you hire so many people to do the same job and your revenue is not supporting it, you have to make cuts. Now, in the case of Cartoon Network's viewership is in the tank. It is garbage. They haven't produced anything that's family friendly or anything. It's all been the same stuff everybody talks about.
Yeah.
Diversity, inclusion, the whole that garbage. And nobody wants to watch it. Nobody wants to see it. They want
even their Toonami block is dying out. I can tell you that for a fact.
Well,
they're not really signing any new anime aside from whatever original production.
Well, they've got some new stuff. They have some new anime like that. They still have their contract with now it's Crunchyroll, not Funimation. Funimation's gone. They merged with Crunchyroll because of Sony. So they still have anime. The problem they have right now is the Cartoon Network studios, the ones that made the cartoons, like Even Steve or whatever that show is or something like that. But they in the past they had made like Ed, Edd n Eddy, they had made the Powerpuff Girls, they had made all the really good shows.
Yeah, Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo.
So, yeah, here in the last few years, they've been making garbage because they had people go and people come out, and so what they did was they were like going, "Why do I need 2 animated studios when I can just merge it and save money?" So I took Cartoon Network Studios and merged it with Warner Brothers Animation, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So when they did that, of course, they went in and chopped jobs. Now the other thing, this is it's not Bleeding Fool, it's Bounding. It was Bounding or
Bounding into Comics.
I don't know if it was Bounding in the Comics either. It's one of there's so many Hollywood going off on this after Zaslav left and right. But Eva Longoria is making around saying that they're hostile to Latino programming and stuff like that, and that's not what happened. Okay, she had an agreement with the old staff in Warner Brothers about her show. Problem is, you couldn't find her show on HBO Max because they had put it in a section. There's not a section for Latino. Okay, I'm sorry, there's not. It's like Warner Brothers, TMC, stuff like that. That's how it's set. It's not set as English, American, Hispanic, Latino, Asian. It's not. They're not going to do that. That's straight up racism. That's segregation and all that other crap. But the thing is because of the way they're moving into trying to get other shows and doing what they think would sell, that they cut a lot of shows. Hers was one, and so she came out saying they were hostile to Latinos, and that's what this hit piece on the article I read is. And I was like, no, again, Warner Brothers has, and I'm going to say this right now. A lot of people are saying they had $58 billion in debt. That's not true. They had almost $72 billion in debt. Okay,
that's most real money.
Yeah, this is real money. This is a lot of money. He's already saved and republished $8 billion. I mean, that's a lot of money he's recovered. So it's now, take the 8 off. It's now, I mean, he's almost got $10 billion off the books of debt in less than a year. That's impressive.
Yeah.
And he is banking heavily on Black Adam, which now people have actually saw it. And non-critic have actually saw it, and everybody is loving it. They're saying this is the DC movie that they've needed for years.
Actually, speaking of animation, going back to animation for a moment here, because I know you came in late, Jane George. I mentioned this earlier. Now, did you watch Scooby-Doo growing up?
Yep. Oh, I already know about this debacle.
Oh,
Both of them?
Did you hear what I'm calling her?
Well, hold on. Which one you want? There's two different series.
In the way I've been asking it.
There's two
in
different
your
series.
lifetime, have you ever thought you would ever see a chocolate Velma?
No, but hold on. There's two different series. I take it back. There's three different series. There's the chocolate. There's the girlfriend, and there's the one that's got the major crush on
Fred.
Fred, thank you.
Oh, there's three of those. I
thought they got a whole. This thing is a Twitter disaster for this. And again, this is what's going on. I'll explain again. They've got all these shows, all this anime, all this stuff made. Okay, it's already pre-made. That means they're not paying $1. It's sitting there. They got to try to recoup some kind of money. So of course they're going to throw it out. It's just like DC Comics. Okay, what are we going to do? Well, we got to make money. I'm going to go get Todd. I'm going to go get Mark. I'm going to go get Greg. I'm going to go get, Jeff Liddell. And I'm going to try to save some money. I'm going to try to make some money real quick with Batman. Swear to God, that's what happened. They went over and got him. And
based on some of
those books.
Based on some of the reports I heard, I thought the one with Velma having the crush on Fred was actually part of the chocolate Velma one.
No,
that's not
different. Everything's different. Yeah. It's a complete debacle, and actually it's kind of fun to watch everybody go back and forth against each other, because it's like, this isn't fair, this should be this and this should be this, and I'm like, go right ahead, have fun. This is comical. I'll just get the popcorn and watch them.
Like, I do know the one about her crush on the girl Coco. That one is Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. From what I understand, that's actually supposed to just be a Halloween special. That's not a series. That's more of a Halloween special.
But you got another one coming out where, yeah, but see that one Velma, it looks like it was an animated show for something else.
Oh, you talking about the chocolate Velma one?
Yeah,
I heard that too.
There's no Scooby-Doo in it. The dog's not in it. Plus, the way it's done and like that, it's not really. It's basically what they did, and I'm going to use a movie to explain how they did this little disaster. Godzilla versus Gigan. Okay, now I'm going to explain that movie. I'm going to explain what they did with Velma with this movie. When they first started to do this movie, Godzilla versus Gigan, they did a contest with anybody in Japan for a new monster character. So they got 200,000 entries. They took this one. He would later be known as Jet Jaguar, the infamous robot of Godzilla universe, which gets his due desserts in Godzilla Singularity. If you haven't seen that one, you will fall in love with Jet Jaguar.
You're throwing movies out that I've never heard.
It's the new. I think it's on Netflix, but it's a new TV. It was a new cartoon series.
Godzilla Singular Point, is that one?
Yeah, that's the one.
I heard about that.
That one is fantastic. It is fantastic because the way they do it with him in that movie, in that show, is he's a bucket of bolts. An old guy builds him, and he's like a Gundam, where he gets inside and works with him, and he just gets bigger and he gets bigger and he gets bigger, and they add on stuff and he breaks stuff and he falls apart and does everything. It's a really cool story. Lots of people die in this thing too. But going back to the movie, they got it. They chose him. They started working on the movie, and they were like going, "This is not going to make money. What are we going to do? Put Godzilla in it." Okay, we'll repackage everything with Godzilla, and we'll get some monster coming in. So they repackaged all this stuff to get where they needed to, and then they came out with that movie. It was never supposed to be that movie, but that's what came out. It was a rush job, or like that. Same thing with this Velma movie show. This was a setup where it was a different thing. It had different characters. It wasn't doing well, and they said, "Why don't you just switch the characters and put Scooby-Doo characters in there and see how that works?" Oh yeah, I can do that, and took Velma and put the character in. And again, Velma is a self-insert. If you look at the writer of the show, it's her. So that's one of those disasters.
That's been going around too. That Velma and that chick. Now, do you know why I call her a chocolate Velma?
Yes, I know why. I saw it. I've seen the pictures. I know.
She kind of looks like a chocolate bunny you'd get during Easter.
I don't care
would not be at all surprised if Cadbury was sponsoring the show.
No. See, and here's another thing that people need to understand. When they sign off on a cartoon or something, they're paying some money to each episode being made. Yep. I can tell you this. I'm going to use Castlevania as a point. The studio that made Castlevania costs $250,000 to make an episode. Okay, that's what they spent on each episode, just for the animation, not the voice acting, just the animation. And they have to have everything. When they get signed off, they get the storyboards, they go with it, they send it in, then the actors come in and do their parts and stuff. So, and right now animation is a lot. It used to be more expensive than doing daytime television shows and stuff. Now it's a lot cheaper. You're not spending $10 million to do something like Batwoman, an episode. I still can't believe they spent that much money on that show, but they did.
I don't know where it went because it didn't go into production.
Let me ask you this, because I'm kind of curious about what's your take on Toonami not licensing, Japanese products instead of just going, instead of going more with original content.
They better not. I mean, let's face it.
Even they have been. They've been.
They might have, but remember, this is now new management. There's new management. Okay, new management's everything's on the table, because here's the big shocker. Disney went and got Bleach.
Oh,
yeah. The new Bleach. The new Bleach.
Yeah, the final arc of the 1,000-year Blood War.
It's exclusively on Hulu. There was such an uproar,
which means it won't be put on. They can't get it for Toonami. Then
it doesn't matter about Toonami. That's not what happened. What happened was they were saying they weren't going to do simulcast. You talk about a backlash. Now they're doing simulcast. The first episode came out on last week. Second episode comes out, I believe, tomorrow. But Disney is seeing the money that's in anime. Okay? And here's a little thing. If you go to HBO Max right now, there's a little asterisk on the left side of the screen. If you click it and you go down, you will see Studio Ghibli. You will see Crunchyroll. Which means HBO has some money in Studio Ghibli and in Crunchyroll.
Well, Studio Ghibli is coming out with a new movie this year too.
Well, the studio's coming out with it, but Miyazaki is not doing anything. He's done. He's retired.
Yeah.
He retired before Bell.
Shinamari no Tomari or something like that.
Yeah, the guy did Bell.
It's basically it's a movie about a girl who finds all these different doors across Japan, and every time she opens a door, she unleashes disaster on it. So she has to now go back and close all the doors.
Yes, it's a typical Miyazaki movie. I mean, the one that really was, and I call it a Miyazaki movie because he kind of kept giving him advice on stuff, is Belle. If you haven't seen it, Belle is a fantastic movie, but this shows the problem that Disney has right now. Because if when you watch Belle, you will notice that like a third of the movie or half of the movie, when she's in the alternate universe, looks like a Disney movie. That is because he went and got Disney animators to come over because they're so tired of dealing with Disney. Disney right now has a major, major problem, and that is this: their animators are tired of putting up with their garbage. They're leaving. The special effects art people for the MCU have all quit. They walked off the job. They said, we can't work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Cannot do it. We can't do 14 hours a day. You're rushing this. You're rushing this. You're rushing this. We can't do it. That's why when you watch She-Hulk, you notice the CGI of her is not as good as it usually is because they're running on a skeleton crew. I mean, people have gotten tired of this. Now Disney's trying to buy all the special effects studios in California. Well, a lot of the special effects thing are coming here to Las Colinas. Yeah. Everybody is pulling out of Hollywood.
The mangakas over in Japan have had that kind of situation for years where they've been worked to the.
That's manga. That's manga. That's not American special effects studios.
Yeah, but it's still the idea of working that many hours.
Yeah, right. Now, if you haven't noticed, there's another anime that's returned, and that I always get her name wrong.
I just saw the Studio Ghibli link at the bottom of my HBO Max screen.
Mm-hmm. There should be one for Crunchyroll too.
There probably was. I didn't scroll all the way across it.
While you guys are looking into that, I don't know if George is still. I know he's got his mic muted, but I don't know if he's listening here. But
George is eating.
Hargrave mentioned something here. Did you see there's a Joe King?
Joe King reboot. Yes.
Reboot.
Hairless Chihuahua called Laughing.
The Chihuahua called Laughing. I don't know if George saw that or not, or had any idea what that was about.
I'm sure he did, and he probably groaned as he saw it. Everybody's a comedian.
Was that somebody taking a dig at George?
Oh no, Hargrave's cool. He's a friend of George, friend of mine, friend of everybody.
But the anime series, I can't even. I butchered this so bad. Yurishi Yatashi, the original first animated series that the wonderful lady who created Inuyasha and Ranma.
Yurusei Yatsura?
Yeah, thank you. I butchered this so terrible. It's
James, just put it in private chat and let me read it because I usually can break it down a little bit better.
But yeah, it's back. And it's going right with the original, so they're having a lot of fun.
The only problem is that you can't seem to find the dub of the original. That I've been wanting to watch that for a long time because I love a lot of the Studio Para work, including Yu Yu Hakusho, Bleach, and Naruto.
Got it sitting right over there.
Huh?
I got it sitting right over there in VH form.
Okay, well, listen. And now that I finished eating a really terrific meal.
Poutine?
No, souvlaki wraps. The animators all walking off the job because they can't do 14 hours a day, all that stuff. They're getting paid for those 14 hours. What are they? What are these animators got? They got a life or something? They got family to go to? They have to see and stuff like that. It's like, don't get into the animation business.
Are they salaried or are they paid by the hour?
They can't. You can't. No studio can make you work overtime without billing you unless you're under contract.
That's the hope, George. They're contract workers.
All right. Well, they all signed a poor contract. They should have came to Nick Rhetorical, professional ambulance chaser. I would have made them billions.
George, how many comic book artists and comic book creators did Marvel and DC screw over because they were so anxious to go to work for them they didn't read the contracts? How many?
Everyone.
Most artists.
If you don't read your contract, you're it's coming on you. I'm sorry. That's the reality.
What about now? Grant, I'm referring more back to the manga cuz, and I know the mangas are a little bit different from America here, but what about the mangaka who get worked almost to the point to where they're I mean, I've been covering a story recently. I've been covering a news item on the anime manga side of it recently. The guy who wrote Hunter x Hunter, that dude is still trying to get his work out, and he's got some major hip issues. The dude has some serious health issues, and he's still trying to work through those. You know,
what's wrong with his hip? Come on.
Well, okay. Here's the thing you got to remember about manga. Okay, it's Japanese society. The way Japanese do everything, it's different. Do I think it's wrong? Yes, I do. Can I change it? No, I can't, because that's all what Japanese.
Nice little tube to sleep in between shifts. And
I mean, they got a little bunk right beside their workstation. What more do they want?
Like here, it's kind of like where I'm at. I got my bed right here.
Exactly.
I understand. I'm just saying, this notion of it's just like anime. Everybody gets up going like, oh, they're teenagers. The age of people that can get married in Japan is 16. Okay, I mean it's different culture. Okay,
yeah, and they can't have sex until they're 21.
Thousand lashes with a wet noodle.
Let's not even get into that discussion. I know RJ probably doesn't want us to get into that discussion, right, RJ?
Strike the stream. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not going to even go that far. But no, I mean it's just things. With manga right now, and I mean one of the mangas that I loved really much, and they had to take it down. It was it was selling 420,000 copies. I mean, it's insane. But Ruri Dragon had to stop doing Ruri Dragon because of the artist and his situation with cancer. So they don't know how. I mean, he's not doing real good at all. He's doing really bad. So Ruri Dragon may not be seen again. So it happens. We lost Tim Sell this year. We lost some other people this year. George Perez, stuff like that. And now we're losing people young. We lost John a couple weeks ago. So, there's things that happen. Real life happens. And, you have their work. But, we're seeing artists now 48, 49 years old die. And it's like people are so focused on their work and they don't understand that they got to take care of their bodies. They got to take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's a serious problem. It's all over comics. It's all over movie theaters. It's all over everything.
That's what the manga was talking about too in some of the interviews he was doing. Was you got to take care of yourself when you're doing all that.
That's the whole thing. That's why. I mean, if you look at, I'm gonna bring up Comicsgate. If you look at the artists that are in Comicsgate, you look at Graham Nolan. You look at Andy Smith. I'm just taking those two. Okay, they're older than I am, and I'm in the 50s. But Graham is built like a brick. He's exercising. He's getting out and doing things. He's like that. Art T. Bear moved down here to Texas. He's getting out. He's walking with his wife. He's these artists that we have now. They're on the independent scene. They're working, but they're taking time to where they can take care of their bodies. They can take care of their families and stuff like that. And everything in comic books needs to move to that direction where we can do that. And
Ethan, you need to walk more.
What?
I said, Ethan, you need to walk more.
I'm not picking on Ethan. I mean,
I am.
Ethan knows what he needs to do. Okay. Now I did snag some of those Vampirilla books of his. You did see those posted, didn't you see it, RJ?
Yes, those are tasty.
Yeah, I got the regular, the gold, and the penciled. So I got them all. I didn't get all 4. I got 3 of the 4 because the other one he only had 2 of. That thing sold like in 2 minutes. I was like, come on, you gotta have one too.
We do that.
But yeah, I mean, hey, let's just say, I mean, he draws a very beautiful Vampirilla.
But when did he draw them?
I think it was a couple years ago. Because I've never, unless and I mean, those are not sketch covers; those are cover covers.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say probably, a few years ago. But and he's got, I don't know if it's, I think it's Salamandroids in the background. So
I should be getting my Rex Planet any day now.
Oh, and RJ.
Jim's got something cool.
The Giant Man has 2-Fisted Tails. This is a fantastic book.
I can one up that one. I can't one up that one. That will always be a cool book at the top of the just as cool. Ready for this?
I'm waiting on mine.
You know where yours is?
Probably in the mail.
No, because I got one box of Kozor sitting over here.
Okay.
Waiting on 14 more.
Dude, that book looks great.
It does look great, but this was just this was just one of the printings. There are like a couple of different covers, and then there are cards and there are posters, and it's all coming in. So.
Are you saying this one?
Be very. I can't tell what that is. What's the title on that one? Overlord?
Yep.
Never heard of it.
You ever seen the cartoon series Overlord?
Never heard of it.
Ooh. Let's just say you're rooting for the villain.
Really?
James and RJ Herrenberg is asking something of interest there. You might want to check out.
So let's see here. We have a feline character, Savannah, who debuted 2017 in vids and 2019 in comics. But DC introduced the feline Savannah in Crime Syndicate #2 in 2021. Do I have a case? No, and I'll tell you why. Because DC and Marvel both have a character named Sandman. They don't sue each other because the Marvel Sandman never had a book, so that he didn't have a registered trademark on that. If you do an issue, a one-shot called Savannah, you will not be sued by DC. You can't be sued by DC because you've owned the character for a while, and you will have the book out before DC does a book called Savannah. Now, for a feline character in a Crime Syndicate book, none of the Crime Syndicate characters are ever going to get spun off into their own.
I can tell you, just because I did a little research on this earlier, Sandman back in the Golden Age was originally done by Gardner Fox on writing, and Burt Chrisman did the art. He debuted in New York World's Fair Comics in April of 1939, albeit his chronological first appearance was technically, in other words, the events in the story took place before New York World's Fair in Adventure Comics #40, which we just read.
But as far as trademarks go, technically, DC Comics could put out a comic book called Arachnid Tales, and it could star the Spider-Man, and it could be a totally different character, just has that name, and Marvel could, they'd be inviting a lawsuit.
Because what they did was they put the word "the" in front of it.
They could even take the "the" off of it.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Because there's a lot of things you can that's open source like that. You're talking about Savannah. Okay, here it is. Is it Savannah the detective, or is it Savannah the Nico, or is it Savannah the cat girl, or is it Savannah? You can set Savannah is a open source name. I mean, seriously, I've got a niece named Savannah. So that's sorry, cousin named Savannah.
Hey, Rick, I saw you there, and I sent you the link earlier if you want to pop in.
But here's the simplest comparison is Captain Marvel. DC and Marvel both had a Captain Marvel for years, but Marvel, when they saw that the Captain Marvel from Fawcett was being dropped, saw an opportunity and launched Captain Marvel the comic and trademarked it as DC was acquiring the Billy Batson Captain Marvel. That's why there was never a comic book from DC called Captain Marvel. It was always Shazam. They had to call it that for trademark purposes.
It's weird on that whole story on that one, but I mean that's an example of copyright, trademark, and who owns what. And here's another one that a lot of people don't know: the professional wrestler Sting, the singer Sting. Who owns the name?
Well, I would think that they would both own the name, but they own the name
Wait,
in different
Sting? Did you say the word Sting? Oh, that's easy. J.R.R. Tolkien.
No. Yes, there you go.
No, the actual name and the trademark belong to the professional wrestler. The singer pays him royalties.
Oh, okay.
If you didn't
know
know
that.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That's the first time.
I thought it was the opposite way around. I thought the singer did it, but once again, this is one of those where the performer doesn't do anything to protect his name or anything like that, and somebody else uses it, and so it's just like there was two bands called X. One was in the United States, one was in Japan. The one in the United States owned the copyright and trademark. The one in Japan had to change their names to X Japan, and so that's how they had to change on that. So that's how everything goes.
Okay. I had another trademark thing in mind, but I'm being distracted because I don't know whether or not someone's trying to trigger the YouTube algorithms. Good luck with that. YouTube is a strange beast, and we've certainly seen keywords, usually from glowies, that come in and try to see what YouTube will do with chats and stuff. But George, you've I know what I was going to tell the story of. And I know that George has filed trademark with a lot of stuff because we've been, dealing with books back and forth, and I always have to send a copy to lawyers and things. But you remember the Image character Wildstar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, gone. And he's gone because Michael Tierney had a comic book being published at the same time called The Wildstars. Nothing at all like the character, no character called Wildstar. It was the actual physical object being sold upon which the trademark was instilled.
Yeah.
And
that's sneaky.
Yeah. So, he went up against Image Comics and, he's like, look, I have, a circle R next to the Wildstars. It is a registered trademark. You are putting out another comic book called Wildstar, which is too close and can cause confusion in the marketplace, and Wildstar disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Yep, pretty much.
Sometimes the little guy wins.
Well, especially if you have the actual trademark and copyright. If you got that, you got them. And if you have a good attorney. That's the other thing. Because as in one case, one was like, go right ahead. We got more money. We got better attorneys, and we can drag this on for years. Here's a contract signed with us.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
Of course, the Billy Batson Captain Marvel wasn't necessarily the first time DC really started doing a copyright strike against other companies. We covered a story a few months back, Wonder Man in Wonder Comics from Fox Features publication.
Oh yeah, it was very hard to get another superhero into comics after Superman because DC was wanting to hold that monopoly as close as possible.
Yeah. Well, they were eventually able to, because they introduced the Flame in Wonder World #3, which was a totally different hero. So,
go ahead, George.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you did.
I was clearing my throat.
No, okay. I thought he was going to say something.
No, sorry.
But yeah, if you had a cape and you could fly, you were Superman and you were going to get struck down. I don't think it's quite.
The Flame had a very interesting way of teleporting. He could supposedly materialize through flames, any kind of flame. It could be a match, and he could just appear from the flame in that match.
Oh, so he had flu powder like in the Harry Potter movies.
I guess. And this was another character that was done by Will Eisner.
And so that could be also a drawback. Without a flame, he can't teleport.
This is true.
So you can use it both ways, at an advantage or as a
What if there's no flame where you want to go? I mean, how does that?
So have we talked about Mr. Tom Taylor and his little bitty explosions on Twitter?
So Superman was selling number one on Amazon at 5:01 p.m. Australian time for that 1 hour that the book had been released, and screenshot that and prove it. Oh,
but it didn't last. I don't think it lasts on ICVD too.
So here's what's happened. Of course, everybody knows that Son of Kal-El is canned.
Mm-hmm.
It's canned. Well, Mr. Tom was like, no. Yes, we canceled it because we decided to move it and give him his own Adventures of Superman, where he's not Superman's son anymore. He's Superman.
A miniseries.
Oh, no, he was saying it was ongoing. Well, he got caught. He got caught. He only got a 6-issue miniseries. That's it. He's done. There are no other projects for him to do. He may be out the door.
Which is a shame because a really good writer was deceased.
Oh, do you know what that is in corporate speak? Moving the worker into a dead-end project. And since the project is complete, the contract's complete. It's classic corporate maneuvering.
I love it.
You had a contract to do Superman. Superman became a limited series. Therefore, your contract became limited.
Yep.
He knew it was going 6 issues the minute he got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was 6 issues when I saw the reading. I was like, this is going to be
great. I think the sales numbers overall tell you that nobody wanted to see Superman exploring his sexuality.
Well, that's just it. The sales numbers didn't tell you anything because there were no sales numbers.
I got another one for you. Robin's canceled too.
Yeah, Robin's canceled.
Yeah,
but as Bleeding Cool was very clear about this, the heterosexual Robin series has been canceled.
Yeah,
that was their headline.
But read the whole thing. It wasn't the heterosexual Robin. It was the gay Robin. When they turned him gay, they canceled it because the book sales went down the toilet.
Yeah, but that Robin was the Damian Wayne series.
They're slicing both of them. They're slicing everything.
Yeah. Now the Tim Drake Robin, that one just came out, and I did a review on that one. I don't have the book here to show you up because I tore the book up on screen because it was just.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, I mean,
let me explain.
You hated that.
This is what's going on in DC, and I can explain this real quick, real easy. DC Comics, they set this stuff up several years in advance on what they're going to do. They really do. They put all these books ready to go and like that. I'm Warner Brothers. I'm the new Discovery Warner Brothers coming in. I need to have money coming in. Okay, put the books out. I don't care. Put the books out. I don't care. We're not going to do any more, but we're going to do these books. They're already ready to go. Get them out. I need money coming in. That's the only reason they came out. That's it. Plain and simple. That's it. No reason. Those books are going to be gone 6 months down. January 1st, there's going to be all hell break loose in DC Comics.
Yeah. The Gay Robin series will be canceled in half the time or less than the Damian Wayne series.
Because I can tell you the number one thing he's going to say is, let's see, Superman. 10 years ago, we were doing 232,000 copies a month. Now we're doing 34,000 copies a month. Explain it. And he's going to be that nice about it too. He doesn't get the answer he wants. There's the door.
Yep.
I mean,
no, not performance, not merit.
Oh yes, it's going to be
come on.
No, when it comes to Zaslav, and he's made this perfectly clear. It doesn't matter about race. It doesn't matter about diversity. It doesn't matter about inclusion. It matters about profitability. And if it's not profitable, it's gone. That is his main. He's got to get rid of $55 billion in debt. And his creditors are sitting there going, we want the game plan. We want it done in a few years. We don't want it in the next 60 years. So, of course, he's going to do everything he can, and he's going to use the same model he's got at Discovery, which Discovery's in 26 different countries and is very, very profitable.
Yeah, because
So
people
does that
like
mean
discovering stuff.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a DC comic about people finding Bigfoot.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
or finding Hitler.
Rick and I this past Friday, we actually read a Superman story this past Friday on my show. A very old Superman story, but one that I think a lot of people would have found a lot more interesting if you had a chance to watch it, because this one had him in his second encounter with the Ultra Humanite, called Brain versus Brawn, where Superman was confronting Ultra Gang over using shoddy material on a railroad construction.
Yeah, I was when and that's those Superman comics were selling in the millions.
Action Volume 1, number 14.
Yeah, they were, and they had returns in the tens of thousands.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the newspaper stand, just because they moved millions onto the newspaper stand, doesn't mean that millions sold. Remember that, guys.
It happens with all newspapers and stuff. Even in modern times, it does that, George. But the thing is on this little thing of DC is you're going to see, and that's important. This is what he told Warner Brothers and the creditors. We have the greatest heroes that were just designed. We have Superman. We have Batman. Why the hell are we not using them?
Are you quoting something?
Yeah, I quoted him. That's what Zaslav said. That's exactly what he said. You want to know how Henry Cavill got back as Superman?
The Rock. Everybody knows that. Come on.
Oh, The Rock had something to do with it. But
he had everything to do with it.
No.
The Rock and Zaslav talked.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. The Rock got with Zaslav, who Zaslav already made clear that he wanted Cavill also. So you have the big boss wanting Cavill. You got The Rock wanting Cavill. They called him up, and Cavill's been wanting to play Superman.
Yeah, and the dipshits that in charge, they're going like, no, we're gonna get a girl Superman. No, we're gonna get
Zaslav shut all that down.
Yeah, I know. God bless them.
Yeah, I mean, they did the reshoot. They did the reshoot for Captain Adam, Black Adam. They did the reshoot. They got Henry Cavill into the movie. They are, what I understanding is now they are redoing the Flash part where Cavill will be in the movie. They're focusing. They're pushing Cavill now. They're pushing him hard.
Yeah.
So
wait. Before you continue, the Flashpoint movie will actually reset the universe, but slightly. Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to take the best parts of the Snyder universe and continue with it.
Yeah, which I don't want to go into that controversy about the Snyder cut and what in that little.
No, forget the Snyder cut. I'm just saying they're going to take the best parts of the Snyder universe and continue with it.
Yeah,
and that's not the black suit.
So no, he's not. He's not in the black suit and Black Adam either. He's not. He's back in the blue with the regular shield.
We all saw the clip there. That's cool.
Yeah, it looked really good.
So we have to thank The Rock for making sure that that Henry Cavill came back as Superman, and of course, when thanked, if I'm quoting The Rock correctly, I believe he looked at the crowd and said, "What can I say except you're welcome?"
Yeah.
No. He also made another statement, which really set Hollywood off.
Only George watched Moana. I can tell.
That was great. That was great, man. That was perfect, pitch perfect.
But he also said the fans come first.
Yes. Yeah, he said that.
Always.
Actually, no. More meat and potatoes on that is that he said in our production company, he and his partner, actually 3 people in his. The number one rule is we listen to our fans. That's what he is. We listen to our fans.
Oh,
which
Heckenberg, just to let you know, Warner Brothers no longer owns CW. I don't know when the move's going to be, but CW will be going bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever CW is doing now, I'm not worried about it. They'll be going to this new company, it's a regional TV development company. So it'll be
maybe the regional development company will do better than the woke ding dongs who just totally.
But I mean, you're seeing a change. You're seeing a change, like with Warner Bros. And it looks like Disney is just going to cut themselves deeper into disaster.
Actually, speaking of CW, in fact, Herrenberg has a question here.
I just replied to it. That's why I was replying to Herrenberg's statements.
Yeah.
CW is leaving Warner Brothers.
Well,
next
owned by Nexstar.
Yeah.
But will they still be CW? I mean,
as far as I don't know. As far as I know, they're going to implement it in the Nexstar. They're going to pull everything in.
Doesn't matter. I mean, they got diminishing assets.
I know, but how does this impact the stuff that they own that is actually Warner licensed? Where is Stargirl going?
Stargirl's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind. I watch her on CW.
Well, going back to the Velma series real quickly for a sec.
No, we're waiting on that.
I heard about that.
Velma's gone.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but they were throwing out the idea of a Velma Harley Quinn crossover.
No.
It
won't happen. It won't happen.
I don't think so either. I just wanted to throw that out there just to see how you guys might react.
Hey, did anybody watch the movie they did that was just Daphne and Velma meeting for the first time in high school, which they did, by the way. It's awful.
I know.
I thought they were all in high school when they started this little shindig. They're teen sleuths.
Yeah. There were kids who didn't go to school, who got in a car and drove around the country, and
Well, we found out on Lorenzo's show the other day, according to one of the panelists there. So supposedly back in '69 when the show started, Fred and Shaggy were both 17, Daphne was 16, and Velma was 15.
And they're all in a van with a dog, traveling the countryside with no parental. Oh yeah.
And
in the 60s,
and one guy is perpetually hungry.
Yeah, dude, we need some sandwiches here, now.
100%, man. Shaggy was so high the dog was talking.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly my theory. Shaggy was so high the dog talked, because every time you hear the Scooby-Doo talk, it's Shaggy's vision of what's going on.
Well, one of the things I had heard over a few years ago about that was that initially only Shaggy could hear Scooby. None of the other cast members could actually hear Scooby.
Yeah, that's because they were getting high from the fumes
in a mystery machine. Why didn't they call it the mystery machine? It wasn't. Oh, we're going to go. No, we're not. We're going to go out in the woods. Why are they going out in the woods? To solve crime? Oh, heck no.
Yeah,
they were not going out in the woods to save crime.
There was no mystery.
You guys, 2 girls going out in the woods. Hey, we know what was going to happen.
They're going to go hug trees, man. Well, come on.
That's the '60s for you.
Yeah.
If they wanted to increase viewership and actually make money, Velma's not the one they would have made gay.
Daphne?
You come out with
Scooby-Doo, man.
you come out with gay Daphne. You have a franchise.
Oh no, I got one better than that. Daphne hooks up with Scooby.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I think people would be having a fit about that one. That you're now bordering on bestiality right there.
No. The plot twist is that Scooby-Doo was always a guy in a dog outfit.
Yeah.
The person who was high when Mr. Ed was talking was Donald O'Connor.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, those are the Francis movies. George, can you get the Francis movies?
I can't. I tried. I'm there.
My favorite Francis movie was when the voice actor himself was playing an army general, and Francis was able to basically give orders over the phone, and people thought it was the general.
Speaking of, you're talking about the voice actor. I'm sure everybody in this room has seen the original 19 1954 Godzilla movie, right?
Gojira.
What was that, James?
Gojira, the 1954 Godzilla movie.
Yeah,
Whether
The
you
one
saw it,
before Raymond Burr.
whether you saw it with Raymond Burr or without Raymond Burr.
No, before without Raymond Burr. Come on,
No, I'm
guys.
saying-
You gotta be legit.
Okay. The newsroom where the guys are running back and forth with all the papers and stuff. The two guys that are running back and forth with all the papers in that newsroom are the suit actors that are playing Godzilla.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I know. I found it. I was like, going, I had to go back and look at it. And I was like, going, holy crap! It is those two guys. But both the guys that were in the suit for the actual first movie, you see them on screen in the newsroom when they're running back and forth page to paper. It's the two guys running with the papers.
That's nice. That's really nice.
There's a bunch of really crazy trivia I can give you on the movies.
I saw the Gojira outfit slightly modified in the original Ultraman run.
Yeah. Oh, Godzilla's made appearances in other movies and stuff. So yeah, he's been around, and in TV shows. So the thing, the when you watched which one? The one with yeah, it is the one with Jed Jaguar. And Gears was supposed to be in the movie, but the suit was so bad and moldy that they only filmed like the first 5 minutes of it, and then they got rid of the suit because it was so bad. Back then they didn't know how to store the suits. And the worst one of all, this is the one that hurts the most. 2 weeks before the Godzilla 1984 movie, Godzilla's Return, people broke in and stole the suit. Even to this day, it's never been seen. So that's why you only see the one version of him in 1984, which is probably one of the best Godzilla versions of all time. Yeah, that suit's gone. They do have all the Heisei suits and everything they do with the Heiseis and the Millennial. They have all those on display, so you can go see them.
Max, we're all over the place tonight. Hang around. If you hang around long enough, we'll talk about Velma some more.
Well,
but
it does kind of remind me. You were talking about how there didn't.
You're here.
Any parents in the original Scooby-Doo. If I understand correctly, they didn't even indicate any of their parents until a pup named Scooby-Doo in the late 80s there, 88, 89. When that show debuted, then you start seeing their parents involved.
Yeah, well, Shaggy had uncles all over the country.
Now, which one? Yeah, Shaggy had uncles everywhere. Now, but which one was it? Oh, Scooby-Doo Kids. That's the one where they were little kids.
Yeah, Pup Named Scooby-Doo was the one where they were like young kids. They were like probably more like 12 or under or something like
no,
that.
they were a lot younger than 12. They were like 11 and 10. But that was probably the best one they did, just because how cute it was and how funny it was. And then they did the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo where they brought Vincent Price in.
Yes.
Well, that one was actually before a Pup Named Scooby. That one was.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing stuff
And they only caught 12 ghosts.
Yeah, because Vincent was 13.
Speaking of stuff that gets lost, I've been doing a whole run of Charlie Chan, number 1 son, number 2 son, and number 3 son. And interesting thing is, I've started with number 2, and I'm going to be finishing up with number 3. And by the way, every show for the next 2 weeks will be over at Denali's channel. The early Charlie Chan's films, 6 of the early films are lost forever, and it's not like they were misplaced. The only copies were in 2 different storage facilities that caught fire at 2 different times.
Yeah.
Actually, I recently saw an older Charlie. I think it was from the 40s on Retro TV. I just was flipping through the channels and happened upon it.
I'm going through them all. And I'm going to be releasing them without the roasting as we're moving through the films.
Yeah, a lot of the silent movies are gone. Now, I did find out that they did actually finally find a copy of Lon Chaney's Family Opera.
Oh yeah.
They did find it. They're in negotiations to get it. They can try to restore it. And supposedly they've got people going over there to look at it. They might have found London by Gaslight.
No way.
Possibly. They don't know yet. They've seen some of the reel, and some of the reel is it, but they don't know if it's a complete set.
Holy shit. That's huge.
If those two movies, if they find a copy of those two movies, it will set movie goers nuts. Those are the two movies everybody in the kitchen sink have been trying to find for years.
Well, I've been working on Metropolis, and give me a sec. Let me look at my.
Well, Metropolis has got they've got a complete digital. They've got a complete HD version of it out.
No, it's what they put out is total bullshit. I'll tell you why. Give me a sec. Let me just
go. While George is looking that up, I want to ask James something.
Okay, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Caligari, and Metropolis and Nosferatu. All right,
now, I have a fantastic version of Nosferatu. I have a fantastic version.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing, guys. I've studied these these films, the 1920 films, quite extensively. And you know what pisses me off about Metropolis is that even when they go to the trouble that they've gone through for the latest, greatest remastering, they did not run the film at 16 frames a second. It's total bullshit. Because
what did they run it at, George?
It was either running at 24 or 30. It wasn't running at 16 frames a second. It was total bullshit. I'll tell you why. Because the original presentation of Metropolis is at 16 frames. Everything that they have remastered is not at 16 frames. I believe it's at 24. And if you compare, you can YouTube search, Metropolis at 16 frames, and when you compare the scenes between the 16 frame presentation and the 24, totally different. The 16 frames, you're actually watching a feature film. The movements are natural, the expressions, everything. It looks absolutely fantastic. The stuff that you're looking at 24 or 30, whatever number they bastardized to, everything looks jittery, quick, like you're used to.
Back.
Yeah, like you're used to, and that is like so wrong, absolutely wrong. They spent all this money restoring this stuff, apparently, but they never thought of actually running it at the original frame rate it was presented at, and it would be somewhere around the 3 or 4 hour mark. Instead, no, it will be, I think, around 4 hours at that point.
So wait a second now. So you're saying that they're reproducing every single image, but they're running it at 24, so they're speeding it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's like Intolerance. Now, if you go watch Intolerance, that one's not sped up. You watch how slow that camera comes in on that Babylonian scene. That is a slow moving camera. I mean, that thing is slow. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
But there's so many. That is the biggest set probably ever built for a movie ever. That thing is huge. You've seen it, George, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen it.
You know what I'm talking about? That 9-story behemoth.
Yeah.
I actually found out because I was wondering how they filmed it. And this is how they did. You gotta remember, this is 1923. Oh, no, 1916. No, is it 16? Yeah, 16.
16.
So there's no hydraulics. So you can't do cranes with cameras. So my question was, okay, how are they getting the camera up at that height, coming down, all the way down to the surface of that soundstage, which is massive? What they did was they took a flatbed truck and built a 9-story elevator and put with no doors and put the camera crew at the very top, and as the guy is backing up, slowly lowered them down as they were filming. But that's how they did it, which is insane. This RJ, they went away.
They're all gone.
Well, I'm back now.
Every time I hear of another classic film, I want George to put it on his channel. So, and speaking of which, Max DeVille out here. By the way, Human Hunters #2. Go out there and find it. I've got Human Hunters #1. Very sexy book. Interesting story. It's like, you know, take all your monsters from history and bring them forward and say we're going to fight crime now, but not quite.
Yeah, Woody, that's exactly what they did. Basically, they built a 9-story elevator on the back of a flatbed truck, put the camera crew in it, took them all the way to the top. When they started filming, he slowly comes down. If you want, I can pull the video up and let you see what they did. So hold on, let me get it. You'll love this. This is great.
As you're doing that, James, there was something I wanted to ask you. The new fall season for anime are coming up here with, and I know you alluded to one of the shows earlier, Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War arc. There's also Chainsaw Man, the second season, The Spy Family, and there's a few other. What do you think of this new anime season coming up here that's been premiering this month?
Oh, there's a bunch of new stuff out that I've been watching. Because I've been watching them. Let's see. Of course, Peter Grill is your typical harem anime. Emeralds of Shadows is really good. That's a fantastic one. Reincarnated as a sword. It's the basic reincarnation story, but it's got a good twist to it. I really like it.
Yeah, it's an isekai story.
Yeah, it is. Let's see what else is coming out. There's some other stuff. One that actually surprised the heck out of me was Akiba Maid War. I walked into that one and I was like going, "Holy crap!"
What you got maids that are wolf girls or something like that in that?
No, you have maids that are yakuzas and they're killing each other.
Uh-huh.
It's the war of the maid cafes. And who has the turf at this location, and like that. And it is violent. And all the participants are cute looking maid cafe people.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I hear English words.
On the anime manga side of it, RJ.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I'm going to show you. I'm going to send this to you.
Oh yeah, because they're saying that this is supposed to be a pretty strong anime, fall anime season. Of course, again being with Bleach, Chainsaw Man, and Spy Family. I think it's another season of My Life as a Villainess as well coming.
I think this is it. Let's see. Here we go. It's kind of quiet, but there we go. Yeah, this is it.
Okay, so how did they do the crane shot?
Let me get to it so we can see it.
But how did they do it?
They built a 9-story elevator. Okay, this is the actual shot here. It's on the back of a flatbed truck.
So they're at the top of a 9-story elevator, and it's going up and down with the camera.
And it shouldn't be doing that phase like that. The copy I have is just completely smooth. But all this is real. There's no painting in this. They built that whole set.
Man. Rome wasn't built in a day, Hollywood says. Hold my beer.
Yeah. And if you look...
There are structures that held people.
Let's show it. But on one of these scaffoldings, if you watch the original where he's not chopping like this, because mine, there's no blurriness. It's just a full straight through. Stop. So, but that is the scene they did. That's the stuff they were doing back in Hollywood time. Back then. So they were spending a lot of money, lots of money on that stuff.
Well, I also know some of the earliest Felix the Cat animated shorts were being produced back in the 20s there.
And I can tell you some mishaps too. I'm sure everybody's seen the Laurel and Hardy where they go to the dude's house and they tear up his house because they're delivery and stuff. Well, that's the wrong house. That actually was private residence, and the cops got involved because the house they were supposed to do was going to get remodeled anyway, so they were going to trash the house so it would help with the remodel. And they went to the wrong house, and they broke into the wrong house and trashed the wrong house.
Oh boy! Ouch! Ouch!
Well, guys, I'm tired, and you can run the show without me, but nobody can end it. So.
Oh yeah, we can. Everybody leaves. The algorithm will take about 5 minutes and then shut down the stream.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we found out because Risey was drunk one time. Hargrave and I were stuck in the stream, so we decided to both leave. 5 minutes later, the stream shuts itself down.
All right. Well, we're going to shut this one down. Folks, everyone here comes from somewhere, and you can find out where those places are by checking the links below the video. You will find links to the Steins, which is the mega successful novel series and graphic novel series from James Lee. Check that out, especially if you've already seen the Munsters and you want something better. Go dig in. I'm only saying that because I've heard bad reviews from the Munsters. I have not.
Yeah, I've heard about it too. I will also be November the 18th, 19th, and 20th at the horror convention at the Irving Civic Center. So I'll be there.
All right. Also, a link to the mic stand, Mike Walters' channel out there, where you get niche news Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I've got to go with Eastern Time because that's what everybody apparently knows. And on Fridays, the historical comic retrospective, which we did a pre-recorded hour-and-a-half interview all about the show, which was set up so that it would end and people could go right over to the Friday night show.
It was intended to, anyways.
Yeah, I loaded it to YouTube. I said, okay, we need an hour and a half. Started at 6:30, and it started at 6:30 in the morning when nobody's freaking watching the show. So
I was going to ask you about that if you did see anything about, and if you got I knew you had 5 views that day or whatever.
Nobody said nothing. So I was like, and I was at work. That's why one of the reasons why I pre-scheduled, because I was going to be at work all day that day. So that didn't go well. And then finally, there's also the link below to George Peter Gatzis's YouTube channel, where you normally can go watch movies. But this week,
no. For the next 2 weeks, we're over at Denelli's channel doing the news on the movies. So the links are in any of the descriptions. You can go to the descriptions and follow the link to Denelli's channel. It's in the first 2-3 links in the description. So head over to Denelli's channel. That's where we'll do the nightly news at 10 o'clock, and then Fridays and Saturdays we'll start at 9 doing the movie roasting. So we stream every day. It's just now it's going to be over at Denelli's while we, do the YouTube timeouts, walk of shame.
And I just, since I didn't do it before before RJ moved on to George. This Friday, of course, I'll have Tim Olson co-hosting with me, as we'll be continuing our coverage of June 1939. This week we'll be looking at books that went on sale from Centaur Publications, including Amazing Mystery Funnies and Keen Detective History. We're going to be looking. One of the features we're going to be looking at is a feature called The Masked Marvel, a Masked Marvel comic adaptation. So be looking forward to that, along with, of course, Dean Denton, Air Sub DX, and kind of a little side story from Frank Frollo as well. So that's what's going on this Friday, this week, and of course Monday through Thursday, the Niche News, the Niche Newscast, where I go over articles and give my commentary on them, on stuff like what we're talking about earlier, like with Velma and Alan Moore and many other things related to Niche, including anime, cartoons, comics, manga, and pro wrestling. And that's that.
So if you're tired of here, you got 3 other places where you can go and get more information, more entertainment.
Yeah. I'm at the start of Denelli's news night. I'm gonna do a face reveal tonight, and just to make it interesting because we're over at a completely different channel, or instead of the George channel.
So jump over to the Denali's channel and catch the what do you call the Joe King Adventure Hour?
Yeah, Joe King Adventure Hour. Everything's there. The branding's there, except it's off of Denelli's YouTube channel for the next 2 weeks. Movies.
All right.
And news, everything, every night, streaming at 10 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays starting at 9.
Very, very cool. All right, I'm going to get off here and I'm going to start texting my son back. He got his first iPhone yesterday, and he's figuring out how now to. Yeah, he's sending me pictures and videos. He's like, "Look what I can do!" I'm like,
"Yeah."
Okay.
History on a Food got here kind of late. I don't know if you guys.
Better late than never. All right, guys. Thanks for popping in tonight. Everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here to view. We don't have a show without viewers. So it's people like you make people like me like people like you.
Excuse me.
We hope to see you again in another 2 weeks, maybe less. I don't know. I do these things on a whim, really. And until then, we just hope you had a blast.
Don't you have the LCS too?